I always had that admiration for the people at the front desk, at the reception. So I would stay there. I was like 7 years old, asking them a lot of questions. So my parents, they were looking at me like, here's she's a candidate for the future in the hospitality. So
Daniela, what defines a 5-star hotel in today's world?
in a 5-star, you're always looking for the element of being amazed, and surprised. That's what makes a difference.
What do you think a woman should never give up to become a leader?
You should never give up a woman to be a woman and not be afraid to show it. With everything that comes with it. The care, the emotion, the differences. Yes, should never hide that component. In the past, there were some leaders, even women, that were trying to behave like men in order to fit in. But I think it's the opposite. That's what you bring to the table. And I think now we live in a world where we can be really even more supported to do that.
In a world that moves pretty quick and often on autopilot, our voices and our dreams get lost in the routine. That's why we need spaces to pause, connect, and be inspired. That's how Conversations Under a Tree was born. An intimate space that invites us to be real and to have the courage to follow our dreams. My name is Natalia. I'm a journalist, visual artist, passionate traveler, documentary filmmaker. I'm also deeply involved in social issues. I'm a happy wife and a proud mother of 3 amazing children. This space is my way of learning through stories, not only to be inspired by them, but to ignite that spark inside, that passion we all carry deep within, to have the courage to live truthfully, to have the freedom to embrace who we are, and the strength to follow our dreams.
Some people lead with strategy. Others lead with soul. From Florence, Italy, to Miami, Daniela Trovato turns hospitality into art. And today, she is here with me under the tree. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. Pleasure.
I'm so happy to have the opportunity to talk with you and to know a bit of your story.
Daniela Trovato is one of the most respected leaders in luxury hospitality. As a regional vice president and general manager of Four Seasons Hotel at the Surf Club, she oversees one of the world's most iconic destinations, renowned for its exceptional service and timeless elegance. With a career spanning more than 2 decades, Daniela has distinguished herself through influential leadership, a commitment to excellence, and a deep understanding of human connection, helping shape experiences that leave a lasting impression on guests from around the world. Today, we sit with her under the shade of the tree to explore the person behind the title.
First of all, what inspired you to go into the hospitality business? Was there an inspiration, something or someone?
Yeah. As I think it happens to many hoteliers, you always have somebody in the family, I think, most of the time. And in my case, where my parents, both of them, they started early their careers. My mom, she's Croatian. My father was Sicilian. They moved to Switzerland. They worked their way up, and then they opened their own club. And in Pontresina, near St. Moritz, they opened a Schwimmbad. That's how it used to be called. And they always used to tell me beautiful story about the food and beverage, the restaurant, talking to the guests, the attention to details, and how they wanted to run everything so perfectly. And since I was little, we travel a lot, and I was always very. I always had that admiration for the people at the front desk, at the reception. So I would stay there. I was like 7 years old, asking them a lot of questions. So my parents, they were looking at me like, here's she's a candidate for the future in the hospitality. So it's a passion that I had since I was little. Yeah.
Very little. It's a legacy.
Yeah, I'm always very grateful to my parents, because I had no clue what to do. As it happens when you reach an age of 17, 18, and you're a little bit confused on what's the future like, and they really pushed me hard to get into the hospitality business.
So basically, your inspiration, you say, were your parents.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's a beautiful story.
Yes.
Daniela, can you share with us what is your strength and your weakness?
Strengths, I would say the passion. My passion like brought me always the energy to, to believe in a project, to succeed, to believe in people, to culture people, myself too. Always question, the status quo, try to be different. I think it comes a lot with the passion for your job, and I think I'm very lucky in that. I recognize I wake up in the morning, I'm very happy to go to work. So
yes,
that's already a blessing. My weaknesses.
It could be one. We're not going
Yeah,
to
more
the
than
whole
one,
list.
but I think I think it comes with my culture of being Italian. So sometimes I'm a little bit stubborn and a little bit of I have a lot of emotions sometimes, so I can get those emotions through very quickly. So
That's part of the passion.
That's part of the passion. So you get the both aspects.
I love it. So you've worked in Italy and now US. How have different cultures shaped your leadership?
Yeah, the U.S. experience, Miami, it was a big one because it was my first one in the North America. So um, even though like Miami, it has their own culture as well. It's Florida's Miami, so
Completely, yes.
So, but I felt very at home because obviously coming from Italy, that was an easy transition in a way. A little bit harder in the workplace. I think I nurture more the mentorship rather than jumping into the to do. So perhaps being a little bit more patient in the processes. And really, and for me, it was particularly interesting and rewarding in a way to create a culture. So in a lot of places where I worked, there was already the hospitality culture. In some other places there was less. Miami was Surf Club was my first as a general manager as well. So the culture and the vision that we created was not my vision, but it's the Surf Club vision. And so we have to go through the process of making sure that it was not a standalone vision, but everybody was brought into, because it doesn't matter which general manager after me is going to come to the Surf Club. Surf Club it has its own soul and vision, and that's what we achieve together.
You are hired with that speech.
Thank you. I can keep my job.
Definitely, because as you say, there's an authenticity to it.
Yeah.
There's an authenticity to the place.
Yes. It's very important. And to me, like the best compliment that the guest can say to me, and many, they say actually the same thing. Oh, Daniela, when we enter the hotel, there is a different energy.
Yes.
And it's a welcoming and nice energy. It's almost like the walls, like it has a soul. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's everything. That's a place that, again, doesn't matter about really, yes, the people, it's an important component, but it's the people that make the place. And I know no matter like who's going to come, who's now there, who's going to come, it has its own history and soul.
So maybe that's the answer to this question is, what makes a hotel special?
Yeah.
Is it a feeling? Is it a smell? Is it, how you felt? What makes a place special?
Yeah. It has a lot with the people. Even if they change, but the culture is there, the values there, the connectivity, the genuine side, the caring component is there, and the guests they feel it immediately.
Yeah,
and that's what makes it not only them, but then the generation to come back.
Exactly.
And find the Surf Club their home.
I wanted to ask you, as a woman in hospitality, what has been your major challenge?
Yeah, we talk a lot about this in the company, but also in the hotel. I talk a lot with also my employees, especially the female leaders, about this, because I think it's important that they know that somehow I went through the same and it's okay. And I'm there to support them. Um, I never really posed myself that question, but then as I move on in my career, I notice it. In my early stage, I was like, man, women, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see the difference. But then as I move more in the leadership role, then I could feel that there were like the tendency of perhaps like judgment,
Maybe,
a
yeah.
little bit of judgment, like, oh, let's see, like, you know, what she can bring in the table. And, but I have to say that it's, if you lead, if you lead with, I think like women in general in the leadership role, they have such a big opportunity because they can lead with assertiveness and knowledge, but also with care and and energy, good energy, values, and soul. So they can really shift very quickly among these two words, and that's our biggest opportunity. There is a difference in men's leadership and women leadership. I mean, I think it would be too controversial to say no, it's all the same. It's just different style of leadership.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I think the more you talk about it, that there is some good differences and it's all okay, the more people will bring those differences on the table. And we know that the greatest opportunity of a big company, it's also like to have diversity. And so that's what we always talk about it.
Right. It's a different vision.
Yes. Yes. You always need different point of view.
Exactly.
In order to make like the perfect recipe.
Exactly.
So
that's beautiful to hear from you with such an experience. What would be your advice for younger people,
yeah.
men or women, that want to get into the hospitality business?
Yeah, that advice for the hospitality industry, but also I think for any industry, and I think also for their career and their growing in the personal life and in the work life. I always try to find some good mentors around me.
Mm-hmm.
But not the ones that tell you how great you are all the time. The ones that that can poke you a little bit. It's like, hey, yes, you have this as a good quality, but what about this? You need to work on this.
Right.
So the mirror that can tell you really like straight in your face what you need to work on. And I think receiving feedback, it's well, and work on it is really the greatest opportunity that you have for a fast track career. So that would be my number one advice. And the second one is that I think you have to take risks. At one point in your life, in your career especially, there is a point where you need to take a risk, calculated risk, I call it, not too reckless, but you have to. And if you succeed, that's like your biggest opportunity. If you don't succeed, you're going to be stronger than before because you learned a lesson that nobody else perhaps has learned before. So
exactly.
I always, and then eventually you have your mentor that is going to collect the pieces of you in case you fail. But
well, to have a mentor is such a gift.
Yes.
Did you have a mentor in your life?
Yes, I still have different mentors. Yes. My biggest mentor was Patrizio Cipollini. He was my second general manager. He became a father to me as well. And we worked together 15 years in Milan and Florence. And it was very tough. It was very tough. And I remember one time, I was always complaining, it's like, oh, how come you can get faster than me in this solution? And then one day he told me, like, Daniela, I wanted to tell you that day you were faster than me. One time. And for me, I was like, oh gosh.
In heaven, finally.
In heaven. I made my day. And but those are special person that you meet, especially in hospitality, because it's such a people industry.
Right.
That you get to know, the people that you meet, they become your family, your extended families as well. And you don't mind spending a lot of hours together. And that's what it comes to as well. sometimes you spend more hours with your colleagues than your family, but it's so good. You feel happy about it.
Exactly. On the days that things don't go as planned, how does Daniela center herself?
I take long, long walks.
Wow.
And I'm fortunate enough that I live in Surfside, so I have all that beautiful ocean in front of me. So I usually take long, long walks, and I try to go back to the moment that I decided to enter, my career, or to the moments where I listen to my heart, because things can go wrong for work or personal reason.
Right.
And I try to reconnect with my heart and forgive a lot. Find the strength to forgive, which is sometimes hard, but I think also, like, from a human perspective, we need that more and more.
Yeah. And it makes you lighter.
Yes. Yes. No remorse, no
Right.
anger. So it's not easy, but I think once you reach that accomplishment, I think it makes you a better person.
And also, when you talk about, walking, is there a connection in your life with nature?
I always find the water component very important. Fluid, it's change, it's movement. So the water for me is very important. If I'm not connecting to the water, I miss it. I miss it. And I lived in Tuscany with beautiful hills and trees, but the water was always like a point of reference for me. So now I'm inspired all the time.
Yeah. It's amazing. And there's something about water that creates such a flow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Changes.
Yeah.
And it's all good.
It's all good. It makes you happy, actually.
Sometimes we're scared of changes, but
It's part of life, yeah. What do you think a woman should never give up to become a leader?
should never give up to become a leader. You should never give up a woman to be a woman and not be afraid to show it with everything that comes with it. The care, the emotion, the differences. Yes, should never hide that component. In the past, there were some leaders, even women, that were trying to behave like men in order to fit in. But I think it's the opposite. That's what you bring to the table. And I think now we live in a world where we can be really even more supported to do that, because we have great success stories and practices. And I think it's in the eyes of everyone.
Oh, for sure. Do you think that AI will change hospitality?
To a certain extent, yes. We never change really the connectivity component, the one-on-one,
The human part.
the human part. But it's gonna help on the back end. Yes, like, back even now. I mean, there is a lot of executive assistant that they use the chat just to drop emails, and that's save you 5 minutes. So your productivity can be actually like higher and faster.
Other than emails and this, what else do you think, what areas of hospitality will be influenced by artificial intelligence?
But also like the speed of service requested as well, how the guest can connect in the real time with the whole hotel operations. And so you kind of create an expectations of a fast delivery in the office, or like if you want to order, like, a club sandwich, and you're somewhere at the beach, and you don't necessarily have to, somebody human on the other side, but it's gonna give you the confirmation. Then it's the part how you're gonna deliver that. And we hear a lot of times like, oh, robots, they're gonna deliver that. So I think, like, to a certain extent, in some field, yes, in some level of hotels, it may. But I think, going back to the first questions, like, when a guest is really looking for that sense of home, that sense of smell, that sense of genuine care, that will never go away. because it's hospitality.
Exactly.
We can be more efficient, yes, but the human component at certain level of luxury hospitality cannot go away. That you will lose the reason why I enter the hospitality.
Exactly.
As well. So yeah.
Daniela, what defines a 5-star hotel in today's world?
Other than the obvious, I know it has to be
Yes.
what? The pool.
Yeah, some certain amenities, the
Amenities.
spa, so the product has to be there. And I think it's somehow, I think in a 5-star, you're always looking for the element of being amazed, and surprised. That's what makes the difference. And it comes with the people, it comes with an experience, it comes with an element in the product. You're like, wow, I remember that hotel. It's for sure it's a 5-star, and I remember where it was. I remember that moment. I remember. So the element of surprise. That if your expectations, you booked a 5-star, your expectations are really high, it's gonna make it like, even higher.
And the personal touch.
Oh yeah, the creating the memories with a special touch. It can be small. It can also like not be something necessarily that costs money, but it's something that you're gonna remember. It's anticipate something that perhaps you had in your head and you wanted to get, even at that moment, like a little wet towels, because it's you just arrived and you really needed it, and somebody noticed it and it's bring it to you. You're like, oh, that's why I booked a 5-star.
A personal touch.
Yes.
Definitely makes a
Yes.
difference. What would you tell the Daniela that had 18 years? What would you tell her now?
I would tell her to
Gigi.
I would tell her to show more vulnerability from time to time. So again, the woman component. And that's what I say also to my younger female leaders. It's okay, even men, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to make mistakes. But especially the vulnerability component on an emotional level, and recognize it and say one more time sorry and apologize to people. It's very important because you can really impact others people's life in a very better way.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So nice to have this conversation. It's such an honor to be with you and have this beautiful conversation. And the last one would be, other than your passport and your purse, what do you always carry?
Sunglasses.
Especially Miami.
Yes. And I love because it reminds me of the water, the ocean, the sun. So yes, sunglasses.
Now we need our Prosecco.
Thank you, Natalia.
Ciao.
Ciao, piacere.
Un piacere, grazie mille.
Grazie a te. Grazie.